I think there's a couple of things. One, I think having done a bunch of 49er games, the guys on the team really believe in and really like Jimmy Garoppolo. He's one of them. So there's that factor. The other factor is, and we've got a really solid roster. Defensively, offensively, our roster is solid. And we've got a great coach in Kyle Shanahan.
Mhm.
So I think that leash is much shorter than it would be um, with a lot of other quarterbacks. And so, I look at it last year. I mean, from the beginning, remember when the first start of the season, Trey Lance had a package, right? He'd come in for 5 or 6 plays here or there, 2 or 3 plays here. By the middle of the season, he was never coming in off the bench. Like they had basically eliminated the package that Trey Lance had. Maybe a handful of plays every now and again, but for the most part, he wasn't playing. And so I think that leash over the first 5 or 6 weeks is going to be fairly short. And if he doesn't progress, and if he can't, win, if they get into a situation where you got to beat somebody from the pocket and they take away our zone read game, they take away our quarterback run game and our option game, and you can't get it done from the pocket, then I just happen to think that they won't hesitate to make a move.
Make a switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. Um, Deshaun Watson comes over in the trade. I don't want to get into the court case. Forget the contract. Like the whole thing is, they're waiting for him to have an impact. What does a Brown, especially a female Browns fan, how do they feel? How much of an impact does Watson have on the field? And if Watson's good on the field, is all forgiven? How does that work in your estimation?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think that we do live in a society um, where we can be a forgiving sort, but I think for us to really dole out, to really extend grace and extend that forgiveness, I've got to see a guy that truly has contrition. And I don't know about you, but I just don't see it.
I don't either.
Um, and that's what bothers me about the whole situation. Like, hey, I mean, everything is disgusting about it. Don't get me wrong,
Oh yeah.
but at least act like you give a crap. At least admit, hey man, I made some really horrific decisions. I'm going to bust my ass. I just don't feel like there's been real contrition, and I haven't seen everything, so maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I feel about it. And winning is a great elixir. People tend to be able to put things behind them. If you're throwing for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the Browns
Right.
are winning, um, I guess they will more tolerate it, right, than anything else.
Hmm.
Um, but man, it's just been a really disgusting display of um, what we'll put up with based upon somebody's overall talent.
What's a team that I'm not thinking about or that our listeners are not thinking about that really has caught your eye in all the research that you've done? Maybe a team that you're going to call games. Maybe I should ask you this in 6 weeks. What's your thought on
Right.
a team that we're not thinking about as the ones we know?
I think one of the big things for me, and again, I get so myopic during the season based upon the game that I'm calling.
Right.
So,
And the Broncos game because you have to do the series.
right.
And I
And
didn't ask
so,
you about Russell Wilson either.
right. Yeah. Well, and I think, obviously that division is so hard, but anytime you have a legit, franchise quarterback, you got a chance to win every single game,
Right.
so that goes without saying. I think the team that really intrigues me right now, I have week one, I've got Philly at Detroit. And so I went in,
The
and I've
Lions
done
are
a
finally
couple.
going to be good. Just
Well,
kidding.
I think they're
Just
going to be
kidding.
better, but I know week one they're relevant. After that, I'm
Okay.
not sure. Um, but what the Philadelphia Eagles have done this offseason, the way they've constructed their roster under Howie Roseman, um, they're loaded, man. They are big. They are physical. They've addressed some things that I think from a complementary standpoint, they went out and got James Bradbury. They get Brandon Graham back at the defensive end. They're a football team that was, I think, 31st in sacks with 29 last year. I think the complementary nature between back end and the front seven is going to bode well for them. Hassan Riddick they signed as a pass rusher, and then their big physical athletic offensive line, wide receiving core. They went out and get AJ Brown, and they go out and they get Pascal from Indianapolis, and I'm telling you, this team is
Eagles, huh?
absolutely loaded. It just is. What does Jalen Hurts do?